This right here is quite possibly the best ever fan-made map for GTA 6. I mean, it literally has everything you could want in the game. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at it a lot more in depth, zooming in and explaining especially what's going on down here at the bottom right. Are we going to see a Bahamas-esque island in the game? Let's go ahead and find out. So shout out to Gyranos. This is his or their map. And like I said, it's probably one of the best made maps ever. A quick little description of it. It is very, very speculative. Obviously, I mean, just looking at it, we don't really know what's happening up north. Like, we haven't really seen much of what's happening up north apart from a couple of screenshots that Rockstar shared. We've mainly have only seen Vice City and like down in the Grass Rivers area, but even a lot of that is speculative. So again, don't take this as like it's gonna be the GTA 6 map. It's not. Hopefully the GTA 6 map looks like this, but this is just speculative. It says it follows the San Andreas concept where there's 3 cities separated by rivers and small towns. Also, there's stuff to do up by Mount Calaga National Park, which is very cool. Port Gellhorn, one of the other cities, is based off of Panama City, which we kind of already know from some of the leaks, although the shape is based off of St. Petersburg, which is a town or a city in Florida. Sundown, which is one of the other towns, is a big amalgam of a bunch of different cities, including Daytona, Orlando, and Tallahassee. He says it also has a theme park, which I guess we'll take a look at here, racetrack, the beach strip, and a bunch of other little cool things. And then he goes into a little bit more detail about some of the things like the Bahamas. I'll leave a link to this post in the description if you want to take a look at the map on your own. Now, before we go back to the map, I want to talk about why the Bahamas are included and why we maybe could be getting some Bahama-esque island. And we're on one of the other fan-made maps, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because you can see the square, the graph, whatever you want to call it, the coordinate plot that this map is on. And the middle of the plot is way down here. It's not even in the center of the map. It's actually in the center of the Vice City area. And this is all based off of coordinates like XY coordinates that are in the Rockstar engine, like the engine that all of these Rockstar games are made on. And in the past, most of the other games, this center point was like the center point of the normal map. But here we can see it's a bit different. Now, this is, again, speculation. Maybe with GTA 6, these coordinates and all this doesn't really matter. Like, they've changed the system some way. But if they do follow the same pattern, then we have this whole other area on the right-hand side, like the bottom right-hand side, that's just empty. So this is one of the big reasons why I think a lot of people, myself included, sort of now think we might get a Bahamas-esque island. Like, that could be a very, very cool feature that they're hiding, because why else would this map, the giant map, be off-centered compared to, you know, the coordinates that they've used for every other game? And someone on the GTA forums pointed out these bunch of screenshots here. None of them are facing south or southeast. All of them are either facing north or west or like a northwest. The closest we get is one of the intro scenes to trailer 2, where you can see a little bit south of the Keys Island. But even then, I think this is more southwest than southeast. So Rockstar haven't actually showed, if we do go back to the map, what is southeast, which is where a Bahamas-esque island would be. And I believe that screenshot we just saw from, I think that's above like Jason's house down in the Keys, that is this area right here. So even if they did show just true south and the island's a little bit off to the right, to the east, like it is here, you wouldn't see it in the screenshots. And this right here makes a lot more sense if, you know, the center of the coordinates that we were looking at, also if the map also included the Bahamas Islands down here on the right. This balances that a lot more, in my opinion. Again, it's all speculation, but it's pretty interesting to me. And I really do hope we get an island down here, or I guess in this case, a couple of islands that are just different. I mean, we all know Rockstar is tested with Cayo Perico in GTA Online, Guarma, of course, in RDR2. I don't think it's crazy to say that those were all testing grounds for a Bahamas-esque island here in GTA 6. But This is his interpretation of what it would be. You get a couple of islands, one with an airport, one maybe that it looks like is more coastal. You get probably a lot of blue water there. Very beautiful turquoise water. Maybe one of these are a little bit more mountainous. You get some reefs. You also do have a little town on the island. And I also appreciate, by the way, how on this map, he also has little icons for things that you can do, like a house or places you can rob, it looks like. Place you could buy clothes, the hospital. So that's also really, really cool. But of course, that's just a minor part down here. That's true speculation. Let's actually look at the main map, because like I was saying, I do think this map has everything. We'll just start from the bottom, work our way to the top. Obviously, it has the keys. Got a couple of different islands there. We've seen quite a few screenshots of the keys, but I do like the addition of all these little mini islands. You know, there probably isn't anything on them, but it's just cool, especially if you're on a boat. I don't know, it just makes the water, the ocean not feel as barren. So I do like that. I also like how he includes Fort Tortuga over there, which in real life, the real life equivalent is a very interesting place. Then we go up to the Grass Rivers, the very, very swampy area. Now in his, it almost looks like there's a lot more water, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this area. If I want more water so it's more of a boating area, or if I want it to just be more like swampy, less water, so you can still drive cars, or I guess trucks, maybe, for instance. We of course saw in that one screenshot where the police are chasing you through this area. So maybe, you know, I'm sure Rockstar found a nice balance, but coming back to the map here, I mean, there's just a lot of water, it looks like, in his version, although they do have a little golf course, which is cool. Gator Golf. I can't imagine Rockstar not doing something like this where there's a golf course in the middle and you're playing golf and all of a sudden an alligator just joins the golf course and maybe tries to eat you. I don't know. I can just see that being a Rockstar thing to do. Then we have the we'll zoom out here, the whole Vice City area, and this right here I love. It's gigantic, and of course we've seen in the screenshots it looks gigantic. Obviously you have the beach area, you know, that's going to be something we probably all know about because we've seen it plenty. But just some of these other little smaller parts of the town, that sort of stuff is going to make this city feel a lot bigger than what we're used to, I think, in GTA 5. And the fact that it does also sort of connect with these southern cities like Hamlet, the one that does end up connecting to the Keys, I do think this is really well made. And then of course you also have the airport, which ties in really nicely, and he also includes, I'm assuming, the green and the pink lines. Those are either, you know, metro stations, trains, something like that, some form of public transport. So that's really cool. And then down here you also have a couple other little smaller islands. Again, I love this. I love how it's all sectioned off, and I do hope we see a lot of this because it gives you something interesting when you're on a boat. That's one of the big things that GTA 5 just never did. You could be on a boat and it's just boring because you're just in the ocean, there's nothing there. And I'll sort of talk about it a little bit more here in a moment, but the rivers is another thing. They connect both sides of the island. You can go from this part of the ocean through the entire map and come out on this side of the ocean, where GTA 5 you had to go around the entire damn thing because the river only went to the one lake, right, Alamo Sea, and then there was no exit on the right hand side of the map. But one of the other things that I really love about this map is that there's a lot in between the big cities, and you have to keep in mind, allegedly so far, this map, this main part of the map, is about 2 to 2.5 times the size of GTA 5's map. So this is a gigantic area. I mean, you thought driving from Paleto Bay to the airport took long. Driving from what's the town up here, Backtown he has, or Abandoned Town, all the way to the Keys, that's gonna take you 30 minutes maybe. Probably not that long, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a gigantic map, and having some downtime between the cities I think is going to be a big part of GTA 6, and that's something that Rockstar needs to balance properly. And I just love what he's done here, where there's a lot of, like, just, it looks like rural areas, I guess you would call it, between the cities. You do have Ambrosia, probably the next biggest town in between Vice City and Port Gellhorn, and even, you know, Sundown up there. It is on the lake, which is cool, and you have a couple little areas around the lake, Lakeville, little place maybe with like some resorts and stuff. Another little small town up here. you actually do have a little airstrip next to Ambrosia. And if the map is as big as it looks, air travel might actually be necessary if you want to get from place to place pretty quickly. But then we go to the left, and this is where we get into the Port Gellhorn area. We actually, south of it, we have the sea view, which I think we saw in that one screenshot. I'll put on the screen now. And this would be where your typical redneck activities would be. I mean, you can see he has the mud club up in this area, but we do eventually get to the Port Gellhorn area. And I actually really like this because you have it split up by a bay. You have like the smaller part of the town, I guess you would call it, down here on the southern part. But then you take the bridge, and this is where the main city part. It's not as big as Vice City, of course, but it is bigger than the towns like Ambrosia. And I also really like how he has it on another little like barrier island, it looks like over here. Like, of course, you're going to have your beaches over here in Vice City, like the Vice Beach, Ocean Beach, Washington Beach. But if you want a little bit more secluded beach, then you got the Port Gellhorn Beach. That's cool. Really hope we get that. Unfortunately, as we've talked in the past, the whole panhandle kind of has gotten debunked a bit. Doesn't look like we're getting a panhandle. So you're probably going to end up seeing something like this where it's just, you know, it just ends. It's not the Florida shape. But he has a couple other little small towns up here. Some abandoned town, some back town, St. Joseph town, Bohemia, little small redneck areas, you know, very rural, very country-esque. Then we get to Mount Calaga. And like he said in his post, he wanted there to be a lot to do around Mount Calaga because in GTA 5, there really wasn't a whole lot to do around Mount Chiliad. You could climb it, but that was kind of it. I mean, yeah, of course, there's Paleto Bay, but even in Paleto Bay, there's not a whole lot to do. Here, though, it looks like there's actually quite a bit of trails, which is cool. I do hope this is the size of the national park. I do hope it's very expansive and it's literally not just the mountain. That would be very disappointing. But this has it all. I mean, it's got the trails. It's got a couple of rivers, so presumably we could fish. You do have a little lake here. You know, you could probably do some boating. And this is the part I love. All of these rivers connect to something. At least most of them, I guess, because I guess I can see this little pond doesn't connect to anything, but most of these other rivers do connect to something. You could take a boat all the way from Lake Leonida. You can follow this river all the way up, go into the national park, go into this little area, and then take it down into the city. Or you could take this left little river from Lake Leonida, go out into the Port Gellhorn area, then go up into Mount Calaga. Like, that's, I think, a really cool thing that I hope Rockstar does. And even like I was saying, if you want to go from the left-hand side, the Gulf, to the ocean, you can literally cut right through, go to Lake Leonida, and then you have this little canal, if you want to call it that. Then you got to go a little bit further down, and boom, you're out of the ocean. You don't have to go all the way around just to cut across. So that's really cool. And then the final thing, the new town. This is something that I don't think, like, it's less likely to happen. I don't think we're going to get a third major city. Maybe down the line if Rockstar have map expansions or something, but nothing so far has really said that we're going to get another major city. But he does have a major city here called Sundown. He said it included a bunch of really cool things from other cities in Florida. You have a college. You have a dinosaur world, which isn't like a Disney World size because it's very tiny here. But maybe they could take some Disney World-esque stuff and put it there. It looks like maybe a racetrack here, he said, another airport. And then you also have another couple of beaches up here on the northern part of the map. And then this is also next to the Sarah Station, which is the NASA equivalent. I really hope we could see some rockets take off. It would just be cosmetic, not like you can drive the rockets or, you know, maybe even board them or anything. But just seeing a rocket take off, I think, would be really cool. But I think this is probably one of the best maps that someone has ever come up with. There's just everything you could want. You have the giant city in Vice City. You have two other little minor cities that are still cities. You have a ton of little towns all throughout, a ton of rural areas between the towns, the rivers that cut through and provide different, you know, water routes to get to certain areas. You have the Bahamas that just gives a whole new area of the map. I really hope we get something like this. I really hope GTA 6 is almost identical to this map. I mean, this is the perfect looking map to me. And even, again, Mount Calaga being gigantic and having, it looks like, quite a bit to do up here. So as we do wait for trailer 3 to hopefully give us more information, maybe about this northern part of the map, you know, maybe there will be a third town or a third city, you know, maybe Rockstar is keeping that secret. Maybe there is the Bahamas that Rockstar is keeping secret. Maybe we'll find that out in trailer 3. We are still waiting for that. Hopefully that comes out next month or in May, but I thought this was really cool while we do wait. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this map concept. That's gonna do it for today's GTA 6 video. Thank you guys for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe for more GTA 6 content. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.